Pakdash, which was a forgotten city on the outskirts of Tehran, became a news-making city in 1983, with the serial murders of children and the arrest of Bijeh. According to the Reporters Club, Mohamed Bijeh, who killed more than 17 children and 3 adults and destroyed some of their bodies in a brick kiln, was one of the thousands of nameless residents of Pakdash, who, by committing these murders, made the name of Pakdash, next to his own, engraved forever. The people of Pakdash complain most of all that why the reputation and cultural history of this city has come under the influence of this tragic incident. After Asghar Qatali, the person who took the lives of several boys, after assaulting them, it was Bijeh's turn to deal with the type of his murders, shake up history once again and set a new benchmark in serial killer page. The story of the murders of Mohamed Bijeh, known as Bijeh, began on the 10th of Shahrivar in 1983 with the report of the disappearance of 3 students to the intelligence department. This was the first official action to report the disappearance of children in Pakdash. It was a topic that was spread from mouth to mouth until 1 year before this complaint letter. The story of the disappearance of several children and the discovery of the disintegrated bodies of only some of them in Pakdash had become a mystery that no one seemed to be able to solve. About 80 suspects were arrested by the police, but it seems that the key to this mystery is not in the hands of any of them, and the killer should be looked for elsewhere. Since before this complaint letter and the announcement of the disappearance of the boys, the police was following the case in an irregular manner. This time they took the sequence of cases more seriously, until they were able to arrest 2 Afghans and an Iranian named Ali Baghi on 12 September, arrested those who were collecting garbage next to the water canal of Anari Garden in Chiamadash. In his initial investigation, Ali Baghi had tried to mislead the officers with contradictory statements. When he was interrogated, he admitted kidnapping 3 boys and said he was arrested along with 2 Afghan men and stole the children with my friend, and now they are being kept somewhere. Every time he was asked about the details and addresses of his accomplice, he avoided answering in such a way that no characteristic of him was provided to the police. While Ali Baghi was trying to mislead the investigation with his contradictory statements, the agents suspected a young man named Mohamed and arrested him. Intelligence agents suspected Mohamed when they saw him looking around the water canal with a hunting camera. Therefore, after chasing him, they arrested him in front of the ivory brick kiln. Mohamed also claimed that he was a simple worker. Ayarpazi is denied any previous contact and acquaintance with Ali Baghi. Mohamed was one of the 80 suspects arrested during the initial investigation by the police, who was released due to lack of sufficient evidence. He didn't give a clue about where the children were hiding until finally, after 200 hours of interrogation, he confessed to 1 count of murder. According to his confession, the victim's body was left in the pomegranate garden. After being tortured and killed, shortly after the murder, he was found by the residents and buried, but there was still no trace of the rest of the victims. In the same confession, Mohamed said, "A month ago, when I was going around the waterhole, I saw a boy. It was getting dark. I dragged him to the pomegranate garden and killed him with stones, and ran away. I don't know if he survived or died because he wasn't there. When I came back to take the body to the crematorium, it was this confession that gave the detectives the clue to persist in finding other missing clues, making Mohamed known as Mohamed Bijeh and Ali Baghi, and interrogating both of them at the same time broke the lock of silence, and the secret of more than 20 murders was revealed. 9 of these murders were with the complicity of both of them, and the rest were done by Mohamed Bijeh alone. It was done. The arrest of Mohamed Bijeh showed that he was arrested early in the murders, but for reasons that have never been determined, he was released and was able to carry out his murders without further ado. Mohamed Bijeh and Ali Baghi stated in their confessions that they killed their first victim in March 1981. I used to kill because my heart was burning. Behavior, habitation, and black case were useless gatherings of opposites that would never come together. For someone who lived in Pakdash, not smoking and expressing his hatred for drugs was a sign of his very special lifestyle. It is good for health, and I didn't want to be a sick person. His great intelligence and special ethics made him study deeply. to find out the reasons and his main motivation for committing such murders, something that did not exist before and caused the dark corners of human life to be illuminated, which could have been different by being born in another family. Bijeh's difficult childhood was always considered as a turning point in his life. At the age of 4, he lost his mother due to cancer and had to start his hard life under the hands of an unkind father and stepmother. I was always in a fight with my father, and he always beat me. I remember once he tied my legs with a chain and beat me with a stick, so much that I lost consciousness. Another time I was almost beaten with a stick that my father was holding. I was going to be killed. I wanted to die since I was a child, so much so that after one of the hard fights with my father, I hit my head with a hard brick to die, but I didn't succeed. Bijeh, who was born in Kokand in 1961, went to Tehran with his 6 sisters and 6 half-brothers. After reaching the age of 11 and after living in Katanabad, he started working as a bricklayer. Hard work in a kiln, the house, and not being able to go to school hurt Bijeh's sensitive spirit. He later explained that because he didn't have money, he used to collect scraps of newspapers from the garbage and read them when he got a good chance. He learned about the world in which he lived. The main spark of revenge in Bijeh was lit when he was raped by one of his acquaintances. He was raped at the age of 11, something that happened many times later in his life and made him become one of the same people who made his childhood a nightmare. When that person raped me, when I was a child, he also beat me severely. At the same time, I hated myself so much that I wished he would kill me. I thought of suicide once in those years. This memory had a very bad effect on my spirit. The attempt to control this spirit began by killing animals in Bijeh. He claimed that he killed sick animals and set them on fire because his heart burned for them, and he did not want them to suffer. This argument was the same argument that the day of the court gave in response to why the children were killed. Because I regretted when I was a child, when I saw the unfortunate children of Pakdasht, I killed them to save them from future life and hardships. As he killed his first victim, who was also his close friend, by injecting cyanide, I killed him to get rid of the pressure of life. Bijeh was constantly looking for peace in his life, but peace was turning away from him. He had once in his life fallen in love with the daughter of one of his relatives, but due to his lack of literacy towards the girl, he was rejected and failed again, until finally, he got the inner peace he wanted by killing his first victim. According to him, he killed his first victim, who was an 8-year-old boy, after raping him with stones on the day of Ashura in the year 81, and a few days later, when the officers found the body was found, he appeared indifferently on the scene and participated in his final assembly. After killing the 4th victim and throwing his body in the brick kiln, more peace was found due to the fact that the body was not found in Bijeh. After that, he made a notebook to write down the names and details of his victims in it, and from then on, Bijeh's murder machine started working. According to him, when the distance between the murders increased, he lost his composure. That's why he immediately tried by taking the life of a new victim. He returned peace to his life. On the court day, Mohamed Bijeh said as his last defense, "I was oppressed since I was a child, and when I compared my life with others, I had to commit such acts. However, no matter how much you suffered as a child and took the lives of other people because of them, it is not a reason not to be punished from the point of view of the law." After the trial on November 27, 1983, Mohamed Bijeh was retaliated 16 times and he was sentenced to death once, 15 years imprisonment and 100 lashes. When he learned of his sentence, he laughed and said, "I thought they would burn me or throw me off the mountain," until his fate was prepared for execution on March 26. The sentence, which he said was the best news of his life. But when they tied my legs, I realized that I was going to the scene of execution. This was the best and most beautiful news of my life. Before being flogged and executed in Pakdasht, he identified 3 things as the cause of his misfortune. The first was the rape that happened to me as a child, so that I wished for death. The second was economic poverty and the desire to get rich. And the third was the beatings of my father and the harassment of my stepmother. After receiving 100 lashes, Mohamed Bijeh was hanged with a rope pulled by a crane, and his life ended. None of his family members came to take his body. That is why his body was buried in complete silence in a place he was buried unknown. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe.